Yes, it failed. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. And you join me again in the Mondeo. Reason I call it the Mondeo is it still smells slightly mouldy. Even though I've got rid of 99% of the mould, I think. Everywhere I've looked so far, there is no mould. Anyway, I've took the car in for an MOT, and yes, it failed. Now, before I get into the fails, I want to go over the budget. So first of all, there was the clutch. And I bought a pack of fuses, just over a tenner. So it wasn't a lot of money. So yeah, so we got 150 quid for the car, 181.68. So it was £10.38 for the fuses, because obviously there was multiple fuses missing out of it. There was £70 for the rear tyres, because two of the tyres were bowled. So obviously they were changed, and plus it'd been set with flat tyres for nearly 10 months, and I didn't trust them even if they did have legal tread. The MOT was 45 quid. And the day of the MOT, I had to go and buy some new bowl holders and bulbs because, unbeknown to me, and it's something I really should have checked, was I was doing a bulb check. I thought, oh, do you know what, I'll go out and buy a couple of bulbs because the brake light bulb was out, and on the rear halo of the lights, one of the bulbs was out. So as I went to go and change the bulb, I found that the bulb holders were not only corroded and slightly damaged because they didn't actually clip into the lights properly, they were full of LEDs which probably would have failed the MOT anyway. So I quickly blipped down the scrapyard just before MOT, chucked in some new bulb holders, drove it to the MOT, and obviously it failed. So obviously, yet again, I'll go over those in a minute. So with that, I got up to, so far it was up to 512.06, which also includes the new door handles and the wings, because the wings were, I think, 30 quid and the door handles were 20 quid. So far I'm up to 512.06, which looks like I've broken the budget, but I minus 50 quid because I sold some of the parts that I took off the car because a friend of mine wanted some extra bits for his, which was fine. So that actually brings it down to 462.06. So far, I'm under the £500 budget. Now, bearing in mind, I'm not trying to BS anybody. I haven't bought anything else for this car other than what's on my calculator here. And we had a service brake lagging in operation near side front. Now, what has happened is, obviously because it's been sat for a long time, the calipers have obviously aged over time, and obviously the lack of use. I'm going to put that handbrake down actually, just remembered. So yeah, they've aged, and I've got a little bit of binding, and I've also got the same issue on the rear caliper. And Mondeos are known for calipers failure, even though on the failure, parking brake efficiency below requirements. Now, actual fact, the handbrake was only working at 14%, so it was 2 off what the minimum it had to be. And the headlamp aimed too far to the right offside. Now, that, the MOT guy did actually try to adjust the headlight, and the problem was the adjuster for the left and right on the headlight itself is actually broken. The thing that you actually put your Allen key into to turn it, to adjust it, it's been sheared off. It's almost like rounded inside. So it will need another headlight, which I will go and get, because the headlights I did take off the other car, unfortunately, I managed to break. The position lamp adversely affected by operation of another lamp near side rear. Now that, yet again, is because of the corroded connections on the wiring block, the car side. When I put my foot on the brake, or if I've got the lights on and try to use the indicators, I'll show you this in a minute, sometimes the whole light, all the lights will start blinking on just the rear side here, so rear passenger. Offside front, flexible brake hose inadequately supported, dangerous, but it does come under an advisory. But as I've got to take the front driver's wheel off anyway for a new tyre, I did go and get a bracket, so I have got a spare bracket to put on to secure the brake hose, so that will be done. And then service brake binding, but not excessively near side rear. Now that's basically the same problem with the handbrake. So I will adjust it, I'll wind it back, and I'll work the caliper a couple of times. If that doesn't work, then I will go and get some other calipers, even if I just go and get second-hand ones for now. Because if I have to end up changing the front passenger, I'll change the rear passenger at the same time. Let's get out. Let's go and have a look round at some of the failures and talk through them. And today I'm going to tackle those failures because I want this back in and on the road by the end of the week. So let's go and have a look. So on the MOT certificate, let's just turn the camera around a minute. So do not drive until repaired. Dangerous defects. Tyre. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to show you the little issue I've got. So I'm going to flick the headlights on because I don't need, well, I can put the ignition on even though I don't really need it on. Oh, and also all the lights have gone out, have not come back since I went along with the diagnostics kit. So let's just put the indicators on, for example. Let's jump out. I'll leave the door open in case it does something stupid, like try to lock them in. See, I did have a quick play. You won't really see it. And the reverse lights are on, obviously, because it's in reverse. Now, you have to excuse the mess in the boot. See, if I mess around ever so slightly with this wire, you can probably see the issue. There you go. As you can see, the lights just go haywire. But if you move the wire in, it stops. So it might even pay for me to chop the block off and put another block on. So that's that issue. Now the next issue is the tyre. So I'm going to start it up, turn the wheel, and I'll show you what the issue is. Got that bottom pulley will need doing at some point, but not today. So just on the very edge of this tyre is bald. You can see in actual fact, looking along the tyre, it is pretty much legal. It is just that little bit there. So I know sometimes they say you can get away with 25% of the tyre, but still I prefer that it failed on that. Gives me something else to do. Shut up, car. Right, and then the next thing is the headlight. I've got to show you this. I mean, the headlight is fitted, but obviously you can't adjust it, and I shall now show you why. Once I've opened this bonnet. Down in here, look, here's the left to right adjuster. Down in there, that has been completely destroyed. Now, if you look at this one here, which is the up and down, that's what it should look like rather. And we'll look at these ones. So that one there is fine, and that one there is fine. So that is the reason why he couldn't adjust the headlight. So it will need another headlight, because like I said, I broke the spare one, unfortunately. Like I say, getting heavy-handed. And obviously the handbrake. So this wheel here, the brake calipers are likely going to have to be changed, as is that one there. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into something a bit more dirty, because I'm also going to just go around the engine bay one more time and check a few little things. I am going to put the battery tray back in, because the only reason I left it out, I mean the battery's secure because I strapped it down properly with the proper straps that came, well not the strap, but the battery securing mounts that secure the battery down. I just left the box out just in case I had to remove it again to readjust the clutch, or to rebleed the clutch or anything like that. Luckily I haven't had to do that because the clutch is absolutely fine. So that's one of the jobs I'm going to do, is just go over it basically and just check everything, just make sure everything's still tight. We'll check this side because obviously I'm going to be jacking it up, and as probably the other side, so I can get underneath and just check to make sure that everything is still secure, nothing's going to come loose. I mean, I had a quick look, a quick prod round whilst it was at the MOT station, and yeah, I think really we're near enough finished. I mean, I thought we were probably going to be another 2 or 3 videos on doing this car, because I thought there was going to be so much more wrong with it, which there isn't. I mean, even the MOT guy was impressed that it had been sat for that long. I even showed him the pictures of it and some of the footage of the work being done, and he was surprised. In his words, he admired my enthusiasm. So, and I hope that you guys have as well. So, enough of me waffling on. Let's try and get these failures done. So it's the next day, change your clothes later, and I have the bits needed to hopefully get this thing back through its MOT. So I have a caliper, another headlight, because as I said, the little adjuster in there is broken, even though you can't really see it on the camera, but that one there seems to be in better condition, so hopefully that even might be adjusted up, hopefully. Just gotta hope the bulb ain't broken, otherwise I've got to do a bulb change as well. But so I'm not gonna mess around, gonna get the wheel back on because I've just had the tyre done, I've got the bits, let's roll.
7-2 Jimmy bass, Jimmy bass, Jimmy bass, Jimmy bass, Jimmy bass, Jimmy bass.
So one headlight replaced, wheel back on, so we're going to work on the other side now. We're going to jack up the rear, we're going to take the wheel off, have a look at the caliper, because the handbrake, it binds ever so slightly, but what I'm hoping I can do is just to work it through, just try and work it through, right, release and apply the handbrake. I'm going to grease it up and just see if I can get anywhere with it, and hopefully it stops binding. And I'll adjust the handbrake at the same time because it was just under the limit. I think it was 14% and the minimum has to be 16 for an MOT. So I'm going to adjust it right up. I'll make sure I can actually lock the handbrake and make sure that I can actually stall the car on the handbrake. That's the way I usually test them, and then I'll go and park it on a hill, put it in neutral and make sure it stays on the hill. And if so, that's that done, and I'm going to work through the front, but I'll test all that once I've done the front caliper because I'm just going to change that because it is binding. So that's why I've got the replacement. So let's get on. Right, so we've done the list of failures. So that's the tyre, that's pinned back that brake hose, that's worked that handbrake, and luckily the handbrake's working absolutely fine, which is a result. I've done the caliper on the front, bled it up, had a friend come and help me bleed it up. There seems to be no problem with it at all. I've no longer got the horrible judder in every time I'm putting my foot on the brake. So it was worth changing that caliper. So the only thing it could possibly fail on is this light here. But at the moment it seems to be absolutely fine. All the lights are working as they should. So fingers crossed for tomorrow. And yeah, so it could only either fail on that or it could fail on the handbrake. But as I've tightened the handbrake right up now, I don't see it really being a problem. But we'll find out tomorrow morning. So we're going to cut through to the morning when I bring it back from MOT. And she passed. Yes. Finally. So that's really going to conclude the series for this one there. I hope you enjoyed the build so far, and hopefully you may have even learned something, i.e. how to align a clutch via cable tie. I did break the budget, but surprisingly by 22 quid. So yeah, you can't argue really. I mean, I was optimistic on the time span it was going to take to do this car, but you know, I'd rather have not just rushed it and stuff. But yeah, it was a bit difficult over Christmas, admittedly. But yeah, I'm happy that I managed to pull this off. And like I say, to break it by 22 quid, you know, I'm not complaining really. It was one of those. I tried, I won in a way, but yeah. So next series, I'm going to work the BMW the next series. I've got a lot of stuff coming for that, and some big things happening to that car. So for now, I think I'm going to take a couple of weeks off doing anything. Going to regain my thoughts, pre-plan what else I want to do to the 7 Series, and yeah, I think that's going to be about it. Yep, I'm going to call the video there. So like, subscribe, do your usual, and I shall see you in the next series where I start ripping into the BMW again and see how much of a mess I can make of that. I don't think I'm actually going to set a budget for that really, because there's just no point, because I know I'm going to be spending a lot of money. So no budget required on that one, just get it done. See you in the next one.